What secrets do the Vatican archives hold? Over the centuries, the Catholic Church has been recognized as one of the most influential religious bodies in the world, with millions of followers all around the globe. The Vatican houses the seat of the Pope, who is the head of this very prestigious organization. And over the years, the Vatican archives have collected and preserved some of the most important documents in the history of humanity. To this day, no one can tell for certain what lies within these archives, as rigorous procedures are required to gain controlled access to the archive. As expected, the restriction has birthed various conspiracies on what might lie hidden in these archives, which range from records of events in history, treaties, letters from old rulers of kingdoms, original transcripts, and even information about the Catholic Church itself that they don't ever wish to make public because of the implications it might have. If granted access, the Vatican archives have the potential to feed most of the curiosity of researchers and even the public. But until then, let's look at some of the most terrifying revelations that have been made about its contents. First, let's look back into the history of the Vatican. The Vatican hasn't always been as powerful as it is today. Its history is stunted with stories of struggles and challenges that bordered around powers being afraid of the potential that the Church had over the people and trying to limit such influence. Up until the Lateran Pact of 1929, the Vatican was under the Kingdom of Italy. And this caused issues that had existed from the unification of Italy in 1861. The Papal States have been under the leadership of the popes until this unification, which was targeted at limiting the influence of the Church. The popes refused to recognize this annexation, and they declared an action that is known to this day as the Pope's prisoners in the Vatican. The Lateran Pact, signed by Benito Mussolini, resolved the issue with the Vatican by recognizing Vatican City as an independent state under the sovereignty of the Holy See. The Italian government also agreed to give the Roman Catholic Church financial compensation for the loss of the Papal States. Looking way beyond these more recent histories, the Vatican has always been shrouded in mysteries. One will think the name Vatican to have some Roman or Greek roots, but to some, it can be traced back to the name of the Etruscan god, Vatis, the god of divine communication and prophecy. And the practice for the worship of Vatis demanded that the worshippers build the temple over the caves in which they believed that the god resided. Shockingly enough, the Vatican is believed to be built over networks of tunnels and even old Vatis temples. And there have been conspiracies over the years stating that the popes communicate with some supernatural beings within these tunnels. Again, some believe that the name Vatican was derived from the Etruscan town called Vatica or Vaticum, which is located in the general area the Romans called Ager Vaticanus, or Vatican territory. The Italian name of the city is Città del Vaticano, or more formally, Stato della Città del Vaticano, meaning Vatican City-State. Its Latin name is Status Civitatis Vaticanae, which is used in official documents by the Holy See. Whichever turns out to be true, the fact remains that the name Vatican is rooted in some pagan belief system by the Etruscan, of whom not much information about them is known to the public. Recently, in a bid to demystify the Vatican archives and present a more transparent front, Pope Francis renamed the archives from Vatican Secret Archives to Vatican Apostolic Archives. But this move hasn't been able to clamp down on most conspiracies that are already in circulation about the secrets held in the archives. Some researchers have claimed to have uncovered documents that hint at the numerous sexual abuse carried out by Catholic priests. The understanding here is that the Church cares much more about the hit the Church's image will take if this is made public than doing anything to help the victims. It's very difficult to come across information within these archives even when given access. This is because the people given access are only allowed to access very limited information and most definitely can't sneak any evidence out of its walls. Also, somewhere within the archives, it's believed that there is some evidence to show that Jesus Christ never existed. One can truly begin to see reasons why these documents remain secrets if they are actually true. Such a revelation might bring the church to its knees if it finds its way to the public. The evidence of this is said to be a letter written by St. Paul to Emperor Nero. The United States government isn't the only one believed to be hiding evidence of the existence of aliens. People believe that the Vatican has a long history with these extraterrestrial beings and is still in contact with them to this day. Fingers point at the strange skulls that lie within the archive as evidence of this. It's still unclear why a body like the church will be hiding such details from the public if they're at all true. Many have discredited most conspiracies like these ones on the basis of a lack of evidence to back them. But it's important to note that despite the believed enormous size of the archives, which is believed to stretch over 50 miles, visitors are closely monitored and aren't allowed access to these sensitive materials. All of the documents from ages belonging to the church are said to have their place within the archives. This contains all their activities and secrets. Originally, the archives were open to only the popes, but recently, they have started granting still very limited access to other researchers. And it's known that getting all permissions to access this facility takes months and months of scrutiny from the authorities. The archives are said to contain a chronovisor of some sort that allows one to travel back in time. One of the Catholic priests in the Vatican, Father Pellegrino Ernetti, had claimed that he had personally used this device to go back in time to view the crucifixion. There was, however, no evidence to back this claim, and Father Pellegrino Ernetti carried this to his grave. The only speculation that we have about this time travel device is that it might have come from a discovery of old technologies from the past. The actual truth on this is one that may never be known. The enormous power that the papal seat has cannot be overemphasized. The popes are known to be one of the most influential people that we have in the world, and with such power comes the accumulation of vast resources. This has led many to believe that the Vatican is in league with the Illuminati. For a while now, there have been speculations of some really powerful shadow government that runs world affairs according to their biddings. Members are believed to be really powerful people in the world that have roles in governments and other powerful organizations. The secrecy that surrounds the activities of the Vatican has, in fact, helped to lend credence to these claims. The Crusades that happened around the 13th and 14th centuries weren't the only records of mass killings by the Church. As far as some researchers are concerned, the Vatican had made moves to destroy some documents that implicated the Church in the Holocaust, which saw the death of thousands and millions of Jews. So far, the Vatican has denied these claims while stating that they have only moved those documents for safekeeping. This is a claim that many have bought into, as they still believe that those documents were destroyed to hide the role the Church played in that. Verifying these claims is something that might never happen. The Vatican takes pride in the security and supervision of access to these documents. Even the information that they claim to allow free access to is still very much hand-picked, as researchers aren't allowed to go beyond certain limits. The fact that such a level of secrecy is attributed to a body that is meant to be one of the most transparent in the world speaks volumes. People have started believing that if eventually these secrets are made public, it will dramatically change the perception of the position of the Catholic Church. The third secret of Fatima is another secret believed to be held by the Vatican. It's believed to have details that the Vatican is using to control the world, while others claim that the details are too horrifying to be spoken of. But until the Vatican comes forward, these details will remain obscured. These are just fractions of the conspiracies about the Vatican. We hope that one day we will get to learn the truth about these secrets.